What will it mean for you to coach in a game of this stature?
Yeah, one of the things I talk to the staff about, I've been fortunate to be, on staffs or coaching or playing on a number of 10-win seasons. I think that's, they're special seasons. I've been a part of 11-win seasons. I've never been a part of a 12-win season. That to me, that's a different threshold. You have 12-win seasons. There's only a handful of teams in the country that are going to do that. That's special. So I asked the entire organization in the team meeting, anybody that's been a part of a 12-win season, in college before, stand up. And it was only, I think 3 or 4 people that stood up. So that's something that's significant. Obviously playing in a Rose Bowl. I've been a part of BCS bowl games before. Had not been a part of a Rose Bowl. I think I mentioned this the other day. The closest I've ever gotten to a Rose Bowl is I took a GA job at Washington State and drove my 1988 Honda Accord with 160,000 miles on it, 37 hours by myself from Philadelphia to Pullman, Washington. And I showed up a month after the Rose Bowl when Ryan Leaf was working out for all the NFL scouts. That's as close as I had gotten to the Rose Bowl before this. So, this is a game that everybody you talk to talks about how special it is and how unique it is. The year that I took the Penn State job, I did the national championship. I did a lot of the media obligations before the game for the Florida State. I think it was Auburn national championship game. So I was in the stadium and on the sideline for that. And I thought it was a real special event, special evening. So, I think if you have a bucket list as a coach, this is one of the things that you want to do during your career. And obviously, we're blessed to be here.
James, do you think you've been able to strike a balance this week between this being a business trip and a pleasure trip? And can you discuss the challenges of having more than 100 guys on the road on the same trip following their P's and Q's?
Yeah, I think you guys know, especially the local reporters, and I want to thank the local reporters that have come out and followed us and been great all year long. But I think you guys know I'm pretty much a routine guy. So our routine has not changed this week compared to how it's been all year long. Our PowerPoint presentations and our team meetings and all the things that we've done, we've talked about how to handle ourselves, at hotels all year long. There's an expectation of how we do things. There's an expectation about how we balance the academics as well as the football part. There's an expectation about community service and making an impact on others. So I think if you wait to get to the bowl site and start talking about how to do these things, then yeah, it's going to be difficult. But we talk about our standards of excellence and everything we do all the time. So, it's not like this is our first bowl game. We've been to 3 bowl games, so a lot of our guys have been through this process before. Obviously, this one is a little bit different stage. But so far, so good. Our first 2 days were a little bit different. There was football in there, but there was a lot more events on their plate, and I wanted to enjoy it. One of the things we talk about is being present. So when they're at Disney, enjoy Disney. Be present, enjoy it. When we go to meetings, be present in meetings. Don't be distracted by other things. When we're at practice, be focused on practice. And that's kind of what bowl games are about. They have to balance throughout the school year the academic responsibility. That's off their plate right now. So to be honest with you, this is similar than how we normally do things. It's just in different surroundings. But I'm very proud of our guys, how they've handled it. We've had no issues. We had a staff meeting this morning at 7 a.m. like we always do. Coach Galt and the strength staff, they do bed check every night, and we haven't had any issues with that. Koa Farmer, I think, has been really good in helping the guys just about what to expect in the community and places to go and places not to go. So far, so good, knock on wood. But I'm proud of our guys, not just how they've been this week, but really how they've been all year long.
Wondering here, kind of in general, how you view this game as far as, cap to this season, or do you think bowl games are more of a, springboard toward next year and that kind of thing? Is there a balance you kind of have to strike there?
What was the first part you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this game is more of a springboard for next year or a cap to this season?
Cap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if coaches necessarily look at it that way. I think maybe fans and media do a little bit. I think coaches kind of look at it as the next game. And again, keeping our approach as consistent as possible. I think obviously when you step away from your routine, obviously this has the ability to give you a lot of momentum going into the next season. And I think it also, obviously the extra practices that you're able to get, it's, in some ways you look at it a little bit like extra spring practices. And then obviously it's the last time that our football family, the one that we have this year, will be together. This team will be different next year. There'll be seniors that will leave. There may be some guys that leave early for the NFL. This team will not be the same. Next year we're going to have to recreate it and start all over from the beginning. So, I think there's a little bit of both. This is the next game, and we're going to approach it like that. This is the last game that this family is going to be together. But also, there is an awareness that this does give us some momentum going into the spring and also into next season, and the excitement that the foundation that these men have laid, for our program for the future.
What do you think of the job Clay Helton's done with his program, and do you feel like you can kind of relate to him just with everything going on with your two programs?
Yeah, I don't know Clay really well on a personal level. I followed his career from afar. I've heard nothing but great things about him. He's worked with two of the guys on our staff. Brent Pry has been telling me about Clay for years. He was the coordinator at Memphis when they were there together, and thought he did a really good job. And then Tim Banks was another guy that was at Memphis for a couple of years with Clay, and the same thing, speaks very highly of him and his wife. And then my interactions have been really good. And then just other coaches that I know in the industry, speak very highly of him. And then my interactions with him the other day at Disney, just a real good guy, regular guy. We got a chance to have a nice conversation. I'm always kind of interested in kind of watching how coaches, teams, how the players kind of carry themselves, because I think that's a reflection of the coach a lot of times. And their guys were first class and everything that I saw. He's done a great job. I'm happy for him. This is obviously one of the more storied and historic programs in college football. Very similar to a Penn State, just on a different coast. They've always had tremendous talent. And then I think obviously the change that they made at the quarterback position really kind of changed their season. And, it's never been for a lack of talent at USC, as we all know. And right now they're playing with a lot of confidence and having fun. And you could make an argument that their program and our program may be two of the hotter teams in college football at the end of the season. And both had similar stories. So, I don't know if you could have written a better script for the Rose Bowl with USC and Penn State coming together, how our seasons went, how we kind of both took off at the end of the season, and our fan bases and all those types of things. So it should be pretty exciting.